from the last meeting, have we got them in front of us?
I think it was mailed, wasn't it?
Is it mail? Okay.
Yep. So moved.
So moved. John made it. Anybody second? All right. Daniel second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, you fellas want to present us anything from the road department this morning?
We got nothing new.
Other than we've got a lot of breaks scattered around over the county? Well, we hope to get to address that before the year's out, sure.
You know, the ditch lines and
We've got that.
Mm,
It's
okay.
up for discussion in the body of the agenda.
Yeah. Is Irene's report in here?
It's right here.
You finding your stack of goods there that Irene's report for the emergency management? I don't know of anything that has been changed about it. As far as I know, everything's going along as planned. We haven't had any catastrophes. That's one good thing, I guess. They made the arrangements a couple of times when we were supposed to get those heavy snowstorms that we didn't get, thankfully. And we planned on using the gymnasium for people to come in and warm or whatever needed to be done. So that didn't have to happen, so that's good. So you got the report there. You can look at it if you need to see what's going on with our emergency people. Robin, I see you're in our presence this morning. You got something to talk about the Wellness Center?
There's nothing really new to talk about. Things are still going really good down there. It's still up. And hopefully within the next week or so, we'll have our inflatables up and running, so that'll help a lot.
I see the floor was to be recovered or cleaned or sealed or something to keep the dust down.
That process didn't work with what we had purchased to do it with. They said it wouldn't work. So,
Okay.
we do have the carpet down, and I do have one of the inflatables stretched out in the toddler area. We got that stretched out yesterday. I just have to wait to get the sand and get them inspected, and they'll be ready to go.
Okay. And we're glad to hear that your mother's better too.
Thank you.
She's been in the hospital and had an operation. Glad to hear that. Okay, Miss Lindsay?
All right, I've got a packet, everybody's got it. And the first page is the reconciled financial statement for the month of March. In the general fund, we have $172,010.97. In the road fund, we have $734,832.46. In the jail, we have $110,196.73. LGEA, we have $71,182.83. Forestry, we have $2,765.20. And special projects, we have $99,818.21. Next page. We have our budget transfers. These are clearing out negative line items and trying to prevent them from going negative for the rest of the year. They all say where they're going. The biggest ones in our general fund are going to be our excess fees, which I have an amendment for the sheriff's department, and then our wellness center payroll, I put 20,000 in. We were -7, and I put that in. I should have money to amend on that, but I have yet to receive that. I have invoiced for that for the reimbursement on the salary, and I have yet to receive that, dating back to January. Then the next biggest thing that we've got is I had to transfer $80,000 from the reserve in the general fund into the appropriation for the jail. 75,000 of that went into contracts with other counties for a jail bill, and then 5,000 of that went into routine medical. And I'd say I will still have to put more into contracts with other counties. I'm just trying to do what we need and not exceed what we need. So I need a motion to approve my budget transfers.
Motion.
Second? Here's a second.
I'll second.
Anthony made it, Daniel second. All in favor? Aye.
The third thing I have is an interfund cash transfer. And this is, I put $100,000 into the jail, and this is just to keep the balance up from going negative, and I'll need approval on that.
So moved.
Here's a second.
Second.
John made it, Brandon second. All in favor?
Aye.
I forgot to print the budget amendment number 5, but we need to do the second reading on it. And it was it was for $298,530.
Linda's got it, I think.
Do you have a copy of it?
I
If
do.
anybody wants to see it, it's just the second reading on that.
98,000.
$298,530.
Need a motion?
Yeah, need a motion on that.
I'll do it.
I'll second.
Brandon made it, and Anthony second. All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have the first reading on budget amendment number 6 in the total amount of $67,996.12. This includes our excess fees over anticipated for the clerk, for the sheriff, that spay and neuter grant that we got, our rental on the basement because that wasn't budgeted for, and then sublease to the ambulance service where we had a new ambulance loan, and then ADF money. And I'll need approval on that.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Daniel made it, John second. All in favor? Aye.
Beyond that is included an appropriation condition report that does reflect all budget transfers. The interfund cash transfer and everything was backdated to March, so it is reflected in the reconciliation. And the very last page is an up-to-date financial statement. And that's all I've got. I need approval on my report as a whole.
Motion.
Here's a second.
Second.
John second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm done.
Thank you, Lindsay, for keeping us in line. I guess I need to apologize to Danny McKenzie to getting him up so early, because I'm sure he's not familiar with the world at this time of day. But he's here to talk to us about the swimming pool.
Well, we had another successful year at the swimming pool last year. We opened the swimming pool the Saturday after school's out and run it for approximately 8 weeks. And we have one free night, and it is really a mob out there. Every time I'm up here, I invite you all to come out and visit and look at the facility and whatnot. And I want to make sure I do that before we get into this, because it is your swimming pool. And you know, if you don't provide things for kids to do, they'll find something to do, and it may not be what you would prefer. And that park over there is 6/10 of a mile long, and you know what it's got in it. And the county owns most of it. The Kiwanis Club owns a little, and the Board of Education owns a little, but it's been over there since the 50s, Stanley. And
Yeah.
you and I were over there, little boys, and I learned to swim in that pool. I'm reminiscent. I'm old enough to do that, I guess. But
You've earned the right.
that's right, I guess so. But I learned to swim in that pool the first year it was open. I believe it was 54, 55, something like that. And I've been involved with it ever since in one way or another. So we did have a good year. We hire about 6 or 8 kids, and that's a good experience for them. And they learn a little responsibility. About every year, one of them will say, I didn't know there was this much to run in a swimming pool. So they learn a little bit about the equipment. They learn a little bit about the refreshments. They learn a little bit about how to work with the public. They learn a little bit about supervision. It's just a good experience for them. And so all this together, I think the swimming pool is a good thing. There's very few of them around in eastern Kentucky anymore, and I think we're really lucky to have one, and we could not do it without working together. The county works with the city gives us our water, you all know, and the prison, those guys come over there and just work and work and work and get the pool ready for us. So we were in the black. We appreciate that. This is the 4th year that we've had one of these memorandums of understanding with you all in all 4 of your years, Judge, with you all in the city, and we just consider it a partnership. And this kind of breaks out a little bit of what each person or each entity does. I think it would be a mistake if I didn't mention one person's name, and that's Jeff Stanford. Jeff Stanford wasn't a dirt back. If we know that that place over there's something wrong we can't handle, we call up Jeff, and wherever he is, he comes to our aid. And I always try to give him credit for that. John, Tommy, I don't know, but Jeff knows about it, and he does come to our aid. And your road foreman,
Gary, right?
The one that retired?
Yes.
Lynn McClure?
Lynn B. always came to us. But I think you have in front of you, I believe, a copy of this memorandum, and maybe we could go over just a little bit in general. It notes that you all have ownership. It says at Kiwanis Park, but there's 3 different owners over there. And you all provide the insurance, and we have insurance too, and that's just a general, first bullet there, it's just a general statement. The second one is to reallocate the annual $5,000 to County Recreation Committee from the County Recreation to Kiwanis Club West Liberty, and we put that in a special account, Kiwanis Pool account, which is separated from our other Kiwanis accounts. And all the revenue and all the expenses go into those accounts. And while we're patting people on the back, if it wasn't for Jennifer Sheets and Brenda Morgan, we couldn't operate. But Brenda Morgan, you say that about a lot of things for Brenda Morgan, and Jennifer too, but especially Brenda, and they're members of our club too. So that comes in really handy where they do the payroll and all of the accounting and all the forms that we have to file. We have to file all the forms that any business does. Unemployment, workers' comp, withholding, any business. We're a business. And even tourism tax for the concession stand. So it is a business. So you all have agreed to give us $5,000 each year, and really we couldn't do it without that. We're in the black, but barely. Once we buy our chemicals, we'll be back in the red again to start a year out with it. So what we've been doing before is you've given us $2,500 to start with to get going. It takes us several days for our lifeguards working over there before we get any revenue for it's able to open, so that's an expense for us. And then at the end of the year, we've got all of our withholding and a lot of taxes and things that come in at the end of that quarter that we need that other thing. All cost and responsibility to maintain will remain with the Morgan County Fiscal Court for renovation, repairs, and replacement, and so forth. You can read that. Now, so far we haven't had to call on you to do the everyday maintenance down there. One of us is down there all the time doing something, and but you have helped us out on the big items, and that's why this is important. When our main big pump, $12,000 pump, went bad, Lindy came down there and we took it up to the garage and beat around on it with hammers and replaced a bunch of things and got it back going again, and put it in wrong, and Jeff had to come back and fix it right for it. And then you helped us last year, I think, to replace the sand. There's like 6 tons of sand in that big filter. It's a huge big thing. And you all brought your road crew down there and we replaced that sand. So that's what that's all about. Indemnity, hold harmless to Kiwanis Club. That's a legal statement.
Yeah, Danny, I was noticing that. It looks like the It says indemnify, defend, and hold harmless Kiwanis and West Liberty officers, board of directors, and club members from and against all claims, losses, damage, expenses, or liabilities arising as a result of willful negligence and/or misconduct of patrons. You can't have a contract that basically says, well, if we do something real wrong, then you can't hold it against us. You can basically make a contract on anything out there except for you can't contract away willful negligence and misconduct. So I don't think that would hold up in court. I don't think it matters, but it's just.
Right. I think you realize that. That's boilerplate, that's in most it's like this. But we have contacted our Kiwanis insurance, and as long as we put it in our minutes, just like any other activity we have, Kiwanis nationally has a $43 million liability insurance that covers all clubs and club members and officers and so on. So they do know we're operating a pool, and you know, I guess they sue whoever's got the deepest pocket.
Well, usually when somebody does something wrong, or they commit this willful negligence, or they do something inappropriate, then they're personally liable. So you would go after that specific person. It wouldn't fall back on Kiwanis or Morgan County. It's when you commit willful negligence, you basically shred the contract at that moment, and you're on the hook for it. But yeah, it is mainly boilerplate. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. It really wouldn't fly with the court.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion, but go ahead and do that again this year.
Thank you.
Second, I have a question.
Sure.
Did you say a few minutes ago that the free-night was really crowded?
Oh, yeah.
Would it hurt your budget if you had 2 free nights and split the age group up to where you got?
Well, let me. You got a lot to talk about. I could talk about this all morning, but we've been thinking about free nights. You know, we have to charge so much to meet our expenses, but I like free nights. Now, we can only have free nights because what's the agency that gives us the Unite? Unite gives us some money, and we call it the Unite free night. And Unite used to send a speaker out there, and they would talk to them about things that Unite sponsors, drugs and so forth, and it was a good thing. Last year, they didn't have anybody to do that, but I hope they will do that. But I'd like to see us have more free nights, or low, you know, maybe $1 to get in there or something, and then look for community sponsorship. And then maybe keep our weekends open for someone who wants to go out there and pay us the $5 to get in and have a little bit more privacy. So until Jennifer and Brenda kind of look into the finances of that a little bit, but I'd like to see us maybe not even open on Monday, and then have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, $1. I mean, you need to charge something, because if something's free, people sometimes take advantage of it. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but to me that would be ideal. And these kids that can't afford it, then at least. So, you know, we may be coming to you next year and saying, can we partnership in this? And you all sponsor now and call it Fiscal. I don't know what we can do with that, but I'd like to see it like Little League Baseball. Kids really don't have to pay to play. You know, they just go out there and play on our ball fields. And I don't know if we can do that or not, but I think you can see. But I'm glad you brought that up. No, we can't do that now because we don't have the staff, lifeguard staff. Because, you know, when we have free night, all the employees are there, you know, so, but it's a good idea, and we'll certainly.
You just got some little ones that gets pushed to the side.
They do, and I didn't, there's another thing I could have gone into, but we opened the kiddie pool last year, which first year in several years we've opened the kiddie pool. We have to spend some money to get that painted and do some repairs on that, but the sprinkler system, you know, where it sprays, that hadn't been operating for a year or two. So, yeah, all these are good ideas. So,
yeah, that's what I was looking for, just to make it a little bit accessible for kids that maybe didn't have the opportunity to do otherwise. I mean, I went last year, and me and my wife and 2 kids, it was like $22, and I know that, you know, most kids in town aren't going to be able to, you know, pay that. And I just want it to be, you know, if we're going to subsidize it, let's those are the kids that, you know, that I think should take advantage of it.
Yep. Yeah, well, this $5,000 gets it open, gets it working. Now, what Unite does subsidizes their night. Now, I believe there's some businesses that we could get to subsidize other nights. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that's a wonderful idea. And just to tell you the truth, we probably make as much selling hot dogs on that free night as we would charge them to get in. Now, you say they don't have the money to get in. Well, they don't. They have the money to buy a half dozen hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? So.
Then let me point out one thing, that the pool's been in operation over 50 years.
That's right. Every year. We've not failed a year, haven't we? All?
And they never have had a fatality. Never,
That's true.
Never have had a fatality in all in its time.
That's true.
That goes to say something for the management and the education of the people that work there.
Well, it's the
And
kids.
it's wonderful.
I just can't say what it does. It just opens these kids. They get over there and they push around a little bit, and it aggravates an old person like me. But they're good kids. My grandson's one of them. You know, so I think we've hired everybody for this year. But you know, if you know a good young person, just 8 weeks, and I don't know what we pay them. I don't know, but
That's stuff to do some brain.
yeah, that's right. They're the business people. They really are. So, did you vote on that?
Denzel's made the motion. Do I hear a second?
I think I seconded.
Did you second? Okay. Denzel made it.
I may
And the
stir
second?
up, I may be all in the wrong, but where you're out so much in the spring, would 3,000 to 2,000 work that?
25 each time works perfect.
Do I hear a second to that motion?
I got a second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Melinda Blair, she's.
Now,
just-
one other thing before I sit down, we're going to do a few little things out there, and I'm not really asking your permission, I guess, but just keep in mind. We used to have a sign on the front of it that said Kiwanis Pool, dedicated to the children of Morgan County, and when the tornado took the roof off, it took that sign too. So we're probably going to replace that. It's your all's pool, but I think it'd be all right, maybe put our name on it. And we got a little set of playground equipment over there. If you remember in the old days, we had swings and everything over there, and they just got worn out. And we got a grant after the tornado, puts one little piece of equipment over there. It needs some work to it and add some stuff to it. And what I'd like to see us do in connection with future plans, I'd like to see us put a little fence in the area on the downstream side of the pool and surround that playground equipment and extend our splash area. Most cities are going to splash areas now, you know what I mean, where the water just comes up. And kids really like that. And then when we have a lot of birthday parties out there. It's the best way in the world for moms to keep 20 kids from using their bathrooms all day long. So they just bring them out there and we take care of them, feed them a hot dog, and they have a big birthday party. Little League, I'm sure Evans is probably taking these Little League teams over there to swimming parties. So, I don't know where I was going with this, but
Well,
we
where
just,
you was going was, we went to the, my name's Perry.
Perry's our president.
I'm the president.
Yeah, she's the boss.
We went over to the pool, and just looking over what we gotta do to get the pool back open. And we happened to wander over into the playground area. And I have pictures on my phone, to be honest with you, if you wanna look at them. That playground area, we need the county to go over and look at it. It's in kind of rough shape. There's even a pipe that's this big around, open, and this deep, that right at the bottom, almost at the bottom of the slide. Like if the kids came down and stepped off the slide and stepped to the left, they would almost be in that hole. What we want is for you guys to partner with us and go down there and look at it and see if maybe, the county can get that thing covered. And there's just a couple spots need some dirt. It's standing in water. And one of them's right at the bottom of the slide.
Yeah, that seems like it's very important. I mean, if we have a park open and we invite the public to come at it and it's not safe, then that would hold a lot of liability for the county. So it's something I think that we should fix right away.
well, here again, I'm glad you brought that up, because that little playground equipment's unusable right now. It really is. And our basketball goal, it's gonna fall with some kids, so I don't know, I've got a list of what's gonna cost to do what she's talking about. We'll come back and explain that with you. We'd sure like to get involved with you. Of course, we can get the inmates and our club members to do a lot of the labor, but this playground work is very expensive. mulch that you put around the, as she said, the bottom of the arrow.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's specialty items, and you have to put a certain mulch in. Would you be interested in us coming back with a plan
I hope I'm
and
allowed
the
to
cost
do this.
of,
Yeah.
I'd say that'd be the best thing to do, get you a cost on it, and come back with a good price if you want.
That's really all we're asking is for you guys to go down with us and look at it and,
They still got the grant on the
Is it a
rubber
drainage rig?
yeah, it
Does it have to be
is.
open?
I could have brought it this morning, but I was gonna make sure we got this and then put that off until later, but,
And like I said, it's,
we figure it's gonna cost
It's
$6,000,
in
$7,000
close
to get that
proximity to the
playground in
slide.
really
You
good
really just
shape.
need the manhole cover or something.
And that's with us.
Yeah, just some-
Can the playground equipment be repaired, Danny, or do you have to have new stuff?
We need both.
Both?
Actually, what's standing there needs very little repair other than the mulch and the border. But that mulch costs $75 that mulch costs $15 a cubic yard. And it has to be, there's an agency that inspects all that stuff, and it's metal-free, and it binds together. And if you put the wrong one down, then you voided your liability. You all know all about that sort of stuff. And, yeah, but I'll come back and
Come back and present that to us again.
I'll do it. And-
Does it have the regular mulch down there, or has it got the rubber tar mulch?
No, we don't use the rubber mulch. There is 4 different ways you can do that. You can pour a surface on there and it's kind of a little spongy, or you can use the tires where they grind up the tires. Now you get into a chemical thing. Most people today are going into the certified wood products, CWP. And it has to be inspected by a company called IPEHA or whatever it is. And there's a big place over in around Flemingsburg in Fleming County. It's 50 acres, and they've got big piles of this mulch all over the place. And that's the only place you can get the certified stuff. Now you can go to some of these sawmills and whatnot. And I think that's what we did the first time we did it, and it didn't last. It just rotted away. And you have to put certain cover between the dirt and the mulch to keep it from blending together and have a border around it. I mean, there's all kinds of regulations. And I'm using a lot of your time, but we'll be back.
There was a lawsuit over that rubber mulch.
Yeah.
Had an allergic reaction to it and all of that good stuff. So.
Yeah, it was the thing for a long time. And the city got a huge, big bunch of free rubber mulch, and they used it, and maybe that was,
Well, this was some of the place, but
yeah.
the parent took lawsuit.
All right, well, thank you all.
Danny, come back.
Thank you, Danny.
Let's see, I'll leave these 3 with somebody, the ones that need signed, okay? And the city needs to sign them too, so I'll be back and get them.
We did get through that motion, didn't we, Jennifer? Yes. Item number 2 on here is the Kentucky Wire construction update, and is it Scoville, is that the way you pronounce it?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
You're here to present it.
Very good, very
Where's
few people
going
have that
on?
right. This is a map of the state, you can pass that around if you'd like. And I gave cards that are, if you'd like one, I have some more here. You may. Hello, my name is Holly Hopkins Scoville, and I actually represent the construction side of the Kentucky Wire project. I am with the DBLLC, what we call short. You see on there is what happens when you give engineers the task of naming your project. They come up with alphabet soup. So we go by DBLLC to make it easier. That means we're the design build side. So we're the company that was hired to actually, by the Commonwealth of Kentucky, to actually put together the fiber optic broadband project known as Kentucky Wired. I like to start by asking how many people here have heard of Kentucky Wired? Show of hands. All right, not enough hands going up, so let's have a talk. This project was actually announced under Governor Beshear and Congressman Rogers in the fall of 2015. Obviously, there was a gubernatorial change after that. 3 months later, Governor Bevin and Congressman Rogers re-announced the project in the fall of 2016. When the original contracts were signed, we'll just be very blunt and honest about it, they had very unrealistic dates of things that were going to happen. The Commonwealth believed that they were just going, everyone was going to sign their pole attachment agreements, and that everybody's going to be on board to do the project, and that wasn't necessarily the case. It took 7 months just to get the pole attachment agreement for AT&T. So during that interim, our side is actually working on the design side of this. We were actually laying this out across the state. This is going to all 120 counties. This is the largest P3 telecom project in the United States. Before Kentucky began this project, we were number 48 in the states of offering fiber optic cable to our constituents. U.S. News & World Report 2 weeks ago just came out with a report, and the fiber that's being laid now, we are already at number 36. Once we've completed this project, Kentucky will be number 4 in the U.S. in fiber optic cable. So what I'm here to let you know is the project is coming. This is the large backbone, and how this works is 1/2 of this network will remain with the Commonwealth of Kentucky. KCNA is the authority that oversees this, and they will do this as government-to-government services. I don't know if you have any state offices in your building here, the clerk's office, or any of your county-owned businesses, but the state offices will receive this as a government-to-government service. What makes our project different is the other half of this is going to be open for an open access network. Whoever your providers are today would have the opportunity to actually attach to this to up their service. That also opens the opportunity for other carriers to come in to provide service and run fiber optic cable. So that's what makes this project different from other states. In this, you all are actually on a lateral. This is the large backbone. This is what it looks like. There are 244 strands in here. You all will get a lateral coming out of Moorhead. EKN is going to do the work because they own the poles that it's going on. The majority of this project, over 90%, is on poles. It's aerial. So we are not in the pole business. We're not adding any poles to the state in order to do this. The less than 10% that goes underground is typically in a enclosed area like this where we have to go into a building. There is some out in the county. If we have to bore under roads, we can go up to 60 feet under. We can go across 4-lane highways without ever tearing up the road. Our construction crews are required to repair as was. We do take before and after pictures, especially when we're doing underground work. So, for example, I always say if you have a broken sidewalk, we're not going to give you a new sidewalk when we're done. If your sidewalk is broken, we have pictures and we keep everything documented. But we do repair things, and especially with some of the weather we've had lately, if trucks get off the side of the road and they put ruts, we actually repair that. So we don't leave damage where we have been. The company who hired me, you can see on here, is Leadcore. They actually won the 30-year contract for this. Every 10 years, the state of Kentucky will go back and look at this project and make sure that they have updated to keep this as high as possible. On the poles, what you're going to see over the next several months, we have about 15 crews out right now. We will have up to 150 crews out by the end of the summer. This time next year, we will be potentially halfway through with the project. So you'll start to see our fiber has to lay at a certain height. So you may see construction crews come through the first time and do what we call make-ready work. That just means they're moving lines on the poles, getting ready to put us on there. Then they will come back and we do what's called lashing. And it's really kind of cool to watch. They put it in this machine and they just send it from one pole to the next, and it's a pretty neat process. After that, they will come back, and this is the cool part of this project. This is actually glass. So these little strands, a craftsman, because this is an art skill, will come back and actually splice each one of these individually to the one next to it. The reason we refer to these as rings, and you all are in ring 1B, is because the way fiber works is when you run it in a circle, if your ring happens to break down in Leslie County, it actually sends a redundant signal out the other side, so you all don't lose it because it's broken down there, which is pretty amazing. So once that's all spliced together, a light runs through it, and we call that being lit up, and that's when it's working. You all are 1B, you're one of the first people that's going to receive this. 1A and 1B on this particular project, they brought the main trunk out of Cincinnati, so that's the reason it's coming down to make this actually work. And your total completion date, that's for the large ring on 1B and all the laterals, is July 20, 2020. That's our final end date. Our goal obviously is to be done before that.
What was that date again?
July 20, 2020. Because what's going to happen, EKN, while we're running the big fiber, you'll see the dark gold line on there, EKN will be running their laterals at the same time. So one doesn't have to happen for the other to take place. They will all just get put together once it all gets out there. Fiber comes in about 4 to 5 mile reels. So every time we have a 4 to 5 mile stretch that we're good to go, that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna put that, and then we'll put them together as we get back. Do you have any questions?
I do.
Sure.
We already have fiber optic with Mountain Telephone.
Okay.
Will that affect, not at all? Okay.
They're welcome to come and attach to this as the backbone.
Do I have permission to speak?
Yes, sir, speak.
Absolutely.
Speak.
So EKN has partnered with Kentucky Wired, EKN Appalachian Wireless, they do business Appalachian, but we already have a fiber ring in eastern Kentucky, and Mountain Telephone is 1/5 owner of EKN. And so Kentucky Wired has contracted with Kentucky Wired, and we are building these laterals in our area. And as far as our part, everything in our service area is basically already done. We've got a little bit to finish up to connect back in. We're connecting the laterals that come in from Morgan County, and in our counties, our service area, we're connecting back in at Salt Lick on the junction of 211 and 60, and then we're connecting at the corner of, or somewhere at the junction of 60 and 519. So we've got 2 routes going out here, and that, especially for the part already in our ILEC service area, we already have that pretty much complete.
This gives us a step up or a leg up on the situation by your all's position.
Well, so we can currently we can offer anything that would be able to offer anyway. But as she said, I think the main focus of this was for government institutions to be able to have that opportunity to hook up. Correct? Yeah.
So, you know, your community is very different. It's for areas
Yeah.
who don't have this
Yeah.
for the remainder of the service.
And we could then lease fiber back, as she says, out of this for our use then if we needed that.
Right. So, you know, you have some networks in some areas that they have fiber, but it's already oversold. So they don't get the service that they need. In those instances, they can come back and buy service off this to have more capacity. So lots of different avenues for this. This is not one thing. This is the backbone. So you have to be an ILEC to actually attach to it. You can't just, if it's coming through your backyard, you cannot connect to this. This is just the backbone that makes all the rest of this possible.
One other question.
Sure, please.
When you're working in this region, is there a chance that some men and women from Morgan County might get hired on to help with?
We actually have all of those, us as the DBLC, we are the main contractors for the large backbone portion. There are several Kentucky companies that we are utilizing. They also have second-tier companies, and some of those even have third-tier companies that we are using throughout the state. We're not doing your lateral. The only work the DBLC will be doing inside of your county is we actually do the inside plant work on those state offices. And that's all through our contractors. They have to go through a very stringent process to be a part of our organization. The 2 companies that make up the DBLC are Leadcore and Black & Veatch. They're both global companies. We have very high safety standards and other things, so we've actually let a couple of companies go that did not meet that. Some of the community colleges in the state of Kentucky, because of this project, are actually teaching some of the skills in order to do this. Each company has a different set of skills. Some people only do inside plant. They only work inside of a building because they don't have the large equipment. Some people only work on the outside lashing. Some people do underground conduit. We have all different types of skills. So we actually go to the community colleges and try to hook those kids up with the companies that we hire to give them opportunities to be hired.
Anybody else want a question, lady?
All right. Thank you
Thank you
very
for your
much for your time
presentation.
and the opportunity to speak. I appreciate it. You all have a great day.
The third item on our agenda is the resignation of Roy Cog. Oh, yeah, yeah, that was next. Philip, you and your wife, go ahead and speak.
Well, as you know, I'm here because of our county road. It is a terrible mess. We have lived on that road now for over 5 years after we moved back, and we have yet to see anybody from the county come up and pull the ditch line. And it's already level with the road. The water runs out in the road. Blacktop is broke up everywhere. Recently, they came and fixed the culverts and did some work on it where it was getting very bad and very bad for school buses. So we just came to kind of, you know, relay that we really need some work done on that road. It's in terrible, terrible shape.
Well, we intend to try to do something about it.
be grand.
Can I ask you what road this is?
Ghost Branch Road.
I'm sure we've got others that's about in the same shape, but
Probably do, probably do. But we thought we would come and let you know that, we appreciate what you did last week, that was really good. But we need some more work done on it. And I know funds are tight, but when they're available, we'd sure like to have part of them on our road.
we'll certainly do our best to.
That'd
Sure
be
will.
great. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Hey, you're welcome.
Now, going back to the resignation of Roy Collett as our chairman of the water district. He's been, I guess, how long's he been in there? Anybody know?
He's been on there about 6 years probably, maybe longer.
He's decided to resign, and I think he's done a good job of what he's had to do with. Like all the rest of our agencies, his backs to the wall as far as money's concerned, But I recommend that we accept his resignation as of the chairman of the water. So, was it effective on the 7th or of May?
He's already
He's already
He
resigned?
resigned at the
Okay.
their last board meeting
Okay,
2 weeks, last month, yes.
all right. And we don't have to have any kind of action on that, do we? Just accept his resignation.
Right.
And Kyle Reisner has asked to be appointed to the chairman of that position, effective on the 7th of May.
I'll make a motion to put him on there.
Second.
Motion made by Daniel, second by John, that we accept Roy's resignation and add Kyle as our chairman. I know we've got areas of the county that need to be updated, and there again, it's money is the biggest holdback to it. So, all in favor of these actions?
Aye.
All right. The water district has contacted the fiscal court that they own on the outside here, they own the lower end of this parking lot, both levels, up on the top and down on the bottom. And they have asked us if we would be interested in buying it. We already use it, I think, all the time anyway, but I guess we need to purchase it from them so we can go ahead and do whatever needs to be done.
I'll make that motion.
Do we need to get it appraised
Yeah,
or something first? Before?
Probably need an appraisal on it.
Yeah, or what's the amount on it?
If it,
They have asked $40,000 as the price. Now, I don't know what we think that's, I guess before we make an offer, we need to find out what the appraisal will be on it, go in that direction.
Yes, and we also need to look at the budget in this. We are
Yeah,
not gonna be able to buy this during this budget. This is something that we're gonna have to budget for,
In the
and if we have the
next-
funds in the coming budget, then we can look
Yeah.
at purchasing. But as of right now, we can't. We can't.
Well, it'll take a while to get all this
It will take
together
time to get
anyway,
everything, follow the process, and I will go ahead and add that into our working
New
budget
budget, okay.
for the coming year, but that definitely needs to go into a budgeted, if we're gonna buy it.
So tentatively, we would tell the water district that yes, we are interested in it. We need to get it appraised.
Yes.
And then subject to our new budget coming down the pipe.
Yes.
Okay.
How much was it?
so do we need to
They
get
asked 40,
a
yeah.
motion to get that in the process, appraisal?
We can. Somebody wants to make that motion, go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Get that started.
Get
anyway.
that project started. Now, second?
Second.
Then we'll second. All in favor?
I made that motion, she got it.
Jennifer, do you want mine?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, our rural secondary road program needs to be addressed at this time, I guess, item number 6. Have we had some inspections already?
This is the one that Corbett brought down, that day that we had the meeting. This is just the District 10's recommendation for the budget allotments for the 18-19 rural secondary road recommendations.
In your packet?
This is normally what Craig Linden would bring down, but they haven't replaced Craig, so Corbett brought it down and went over it with the judge and Gary and myself about 3 weeks ago. And everyone has a copy in their packet. We just need approval. We need in the minutes so we can get a copy of the minutes back to.
Just need approval if they brought it to us, I make that motion.
Yes.
All right,
Acknowledge
John
it.
made it, is here second?
Second.
Brandon second, all in favor?
Aye.
We've also been given 4 sections of 0172 as a result of the new construction on new 172 that falls back in our lap to take care of. They'll so graciously gives us these roads to look after, you know. But you got that in your packet too, of the 4 sections that we need to, I guess, okay.
It has to be done by resolution again.
Okay.
And I gave you a copy of the resolution.
This is talking about because of the new construction of 172 is taken in.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, the old part is given back to us to look after. Do we need more than one resolution reading on that?
No.
I guess.
And they'll do like they normally do, they'll be blacktopped and be in good shape and before we get them.
Hopefully.
If not, we don't have to take them, if not.
Yeah, we do.
We gotta take them
We don't
regardless.
have a choice.
But I mean, that's what they always do.
I think they're in good shape
They are.
according to what they said, so they told us we shouldn't have any problem with them. Hopefully we won't for a few years.
For a while.
Yeah.
For a few years.
Okay, I guess I need a motion to accept this resolution.
Yes.
Motion. Anthony made it, John seconded, all in favor? Aye. So we got some more roads to look after now.
We was already more or less looking at them. They just got extended a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got a letter in there from the Gateway Homeless Coalition. I think that's something that we've invested in prior times. Was it $5,000 we've given them before?
Normally, this is done through our coal severance funds, and we do have it in our list of projects.
For the coal severance?
If we get coal severance, it's in our list of projects to fund.
Since that's in our projects to fund, can we bring it back
After
we know if we're gonna have it or not? Because, you know, coming out of this budget, I mean, is it for the coming year or is it, you know, our budget's getting tight. We're at the end, you know,
Yeah.
and we don't have a lot of room for extras.
They just say
So-
support for 2018, so I think
Okay.
that'll probably be fine.
Okay, and that way we'd know. And what I'd like to do is in that upcoming budget, there's a lot of things that kind of get sprung on that we help with, that we don't really typically foresee. I'd like to put a line item in for these random things that we give assistance to, and once we fulfill that, then, you know, that's the extent of our help. I mean, we're gonna have to do something, because there's so many things that come up that are unbudgeted, and that's really hard to keep a budget balanced. with
I'm sure this is a
unforeseen.
good thing to do, is provide homeless for people that otherwise wouldn't have any. So We could push
Right.
that on up to, or delay it till the next
Right, and like I
budget.
said, I can put some money aside for these projects, which can include that amount. And then, you know, if we don't need it, then that's money we can reappropriate, and if we do need it, then we can have it there.
How much
Was it-
money are they asking for?
5,000.
5. Do we want to go ahead and make that as we go right now, or delay it until the time comes?
See if we get the co-severance
I
money
think
for
we
it.
need to
Yeah.
delay it for the
Delay it then?
severance.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Okay, Mr. Potter,
We got another bad slip out there on Wardport Road.
not very far off 460, is it?
It's right off of 460 there. That's a bad place there.
Yeah, it is.
We really need to get that fixed where we can. I think the state's already been looking at one out there on Steel Branch.
Yeah.
We could add that right in with that bid. I've got a list of people that drive that steel other than the one we've been using.
Yeah?
I'm gonna give it to Linda after the meeting. She can, on that one up
Are there some more that do that?
Yeah.
Good.
On up there on Steel Branch, I think we can go ahead and have that fixed without bidding it because it's been declared emergency.
Yes.
I've got the
Emergency.
paperwork
Yeah.
submitted, I'm just waiting to get the approval from
Yeah.
Frankfurt. We should have that in 2
And I'd like
days.
to go ahead and do the same thing on that darn water report, you know.
Declare an
Declare
emergency?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a bad place for school buses to have to
Yeah.
go right by, it, you know.
I'll get it turned in today.
Okay?
That road's in bad shape from one end to the other.
Yeah.
On my side, it's,
We probably need,
Motion.
Motion.
All right.
Yeah.
To
You making a motion then,
emergency.
All right.
Second.
John second, all in favor?
Aye.
Item number 10 was tabled. And Brandon, you want to talk about the mowing?
Yeah, we discussed, I guess several months ago about maybe contracting out our mowing this year. And that would allow our road department to pour our ditch lines. And that's what we discussed. So do we need to discuss on maybe how we're going to go about doing that, or?
Yeah, I'd say we need to discuss it some. I don't know, every district probably has got somebody in it that would mow, haven't they? Would you say?
I'd say that.
And I don't know what, we check, see what the going prices are for mowing, and
Are we going to have each district have?
I think that would be the thing to do. is
Folks put a bid in?
Yeah,
They have to be do they have to be insured?
yes.
yeah.
Thing is, before you determine that, you're going to be determining how many times a year that they're gonna have to be mowed
We
and all
would need a
that.
contract.
There's going to be a contract wrote up.
Right. We just need
Before you
some
could
kind of
actually ever bid it.
contract
Of course.
for them to sign.
Mr. County Attorney, could you provide us with something to go by?
Yeah, we can do that. I just need the parameters of what you all want.
Okay.
So I can put it on the paper.
Would 3 times a year be enough, or?
How many times a year do y'all
2 times?
usually do it?
2 times. Okay, all right.
Thing of it is, we only got 6 people working up there. We got over 500 mile road. If you take 3 of them off the mold, then you ain't got enough ditch. You do one of them.
Yeah. I think this could be worked out, all right, to give you all, you're all more familiar with where the water lines are, and keep cutting them too when we go out to try to pull this line, and let this mowing go out the contract.
You gotta be insured.
So if you'll get us a contract,
Okay, I'll come by your office. I'll need a lot more information, but yeah, we can get it done.
we'll go from there on that.
And I mean, this is probably most cost effective. It'd be cheaper on the county to do this. Right, guys?
I think so. So, number 12 is about the animal shelter. Somewhere we've been given
Policies and procedures. She's
Let's
been
go
talking to
by.
Lindsay about
Yeah,
that.
I've been in contact with Kathy, and there's no policies and procedures specific to the animal shelter, specific to how we adopt our dogs, what we charge, things of that nature. what I would like to do is everybody has a copy of everything that Kathy has put together. Everybody can review it, make comments, changes, notes. It needs to go for Miles to review and bring that back. I think, give everybody time to look over it, bring back suggestions, anything that needs to be changed, and then bring it back before we actually accept it. And it would basically be just an amendment to, will it be an amendment to our admin code? Would it go in, how is that done? To our policies and procedures? Is it just an addition? Or?
I don't.
They've never had one, it'd just be an establishment of theirs.
Right.
Okay.
And
Does that have to
actually,
be done
it
by
probably
ordinance?
needs to be done by ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd need two readings on it.
Okay. Hopefully, we'll bring it back, we're gonna do a special call meeting for the budget so that we can get that in early, and we can bring that back at that point and start with the first reading then,
Okay.
if that's okay with everybody. I think that's the,
Does the state provide a format to go by that we need to follow? That, of course, not all counties are the same.
every county's animal shelter operates very, very differently.
Okay.
You have some animal shelters that are very, very strict in compliance with how their things are done, and then you have some that just don't care. And Kathy has been very diligent in reaching out to other counties on that, are really strict. She's very good with following and looking into the laws on operations, staying up to date on that information and abiding by it. So, there are laws in regards to that, but as far as the pricing and stuff, that's just a decision by the fiscal court to accept or not, and things of that nature.
I think the animal shelter people do a very good job in what they've got to do with over there. The building's old and it's dilapidated, but they keep it going, and it serves the county as the purpose of it. And we don't have a whole lot of dog trouble over their continuous support and work, try to keep all animals up. And you don't see very many stray dogs anymore, do you?
No.
I think there's one over to IGA, but it's a permanent fixture over there. But we will move along on that.
Our goal is to have this in place by the beginning of the fiscal year.
July 1, hopefully.
Yeah, and that way, right now, we don't handle a lot of dog adoptions. Helping Hands takes about every dog we have, or rescues come in. And this just kind of gives some guidelines and some structures if we do adopt dogs out. If that changes, if Helping Hands was not in place, we don't have a fallback right now on how we're going to operate. So it's kind of a fallback. If anything ever did happen, we've got it in place.
All right, Mr. Anthony, you want to?
I just wanted to mention that resource officers in other counties are already getting committees together that consist of the superintendent, county judge's office, fiscal court, and also the county sheriff, in trying to come up with ways that we can keep like a deputy in each elementary school, middle school, and high school. It's going to come to that. I don't know how it will be funded, if all three get together, but there's other counties already starting their committees for the protection of our students. Just think we need to start.
I don't know, where to start, but
I think the sheriff's office may have already started.
They got
I
it
think
good.
they've been
Good.
having some meetings, so you might want to just check with Anthony and see to what point they are. I think they've had 2 or 3 meetings already. They had one yesterday, as a matter of fact.
I know that some people in the State Department was already talking.
Yeah, yeah.
the
Evidently,
resource
they
office.
must have contacted the sheriff's office
Okay.
because he's working on something,
Good.
getting some kind of a plan together.
it's I don't really say it's a shame or it's a bad deal where you have to have guards over the kids, so they can go to school. It's I guess a short-sightedness of our nation that they've let that get in that kind of shape, but looks like this is a way to do something about it, and hopefully it'll be probably coming through the sheriff's department, I would say, and maybe we get funding to take care of it.
There may be a grant or something through Homeland Security if it would.
Yeah.
Well, when, you know, I went to Pikeville and these bigwig attorneys from New York kind of flew in to the airport there, and we went in and talked at the lobby, and they were talking about, I think we talked about this 4 or 5 months ago, and it's still being worked out. We're going after the middleman distributors, you know, for basically supplying many times over the amount of drugs that a community needs, and not knowing about it because there was a federal regulation that says basically that if you know about abuse, then you're not supposed to send these large shipments, and they were sending, you know, 10,000 pills a person a month or something to some, you know, some of these places. And they talked about if they did receive a settlement, it'd be in the form of the fiscal court. We would get a lump sum of money, and we could decide what we wanted. And some of the ideas that were being pushed down there were that you know, we could hire 15 officers for, you know, 10 years or something, and try to clean up this mess. And if we had those resources, I think it'd be very easy to kind of do some of these ideas. Not only that, but, you know, some other things that could help us kind of with our opioid epidemic. But that was one of the ideas, is to flood these rural areas with law enforcement, and to you know, try to stop it where it is right now, because it's only getting worse if we don't have any help. I know our sheriff's department is understaffed, and you know, any help that we could give them would be to a great effect.
Well, it is a problem, no doubt about that.
There used to be 2 places that you could go that you were safe, school and church, and now neither one of them is a guarantee.
All right, item number 14 then. Anthony, you want
Well,
to
I
say
just,
something?
Mr. Cox come to me and said, well, you know, other people are